or make you laugh, make you cry like Ain't Life Funny. Ugh. Like, this is actually what I wanted to talk about today a little bit before we got into the real topic. Also, welcome to the podcast, everyone. This is
Hey, what's up,
40.
everybody? Welcome to episode 40 of Aint Life Funny. That's crazy. We only got a few left till we've been doing this a full year, bro.
And then that's when I'm gonna go kamikaze out this bitch and just, start being my real self.
Down in flame. It's like Aaron tells the real truth.
Right. It's like, you know what? I've been filtering myself for a whole year. It's
Yeah, right.
It's like, what you about to say? Like, just wait.
Hey, white people.
Oh man. You know what I will say though about I will say this about white people, dude. I noticed something the other day that I just thought was hilarious. Is like, it's funny to me when like you're the prime example of this, when like a white person is just like hella cool with black people to the point that like they don't even like show emotion to things that the black people do, like that white people do when they see black people. Because like, for example, okay, let you be a black person and all black people will ride with this. They'll be like, hey, I changed my hair the other day at my job, and this girl comes up to me and asks me, she's a white girl, of course, hey, did your hair grow overnight? Like, how did you do that? Like, it's amazing. It's like, I combed it, motherfucker. Like, that's what that is. Like, but you know what I'm talking about, bro. White people will do that. Like, they don't know you that well, be around you. Like, you get your hair changed, they'll just be like, oh my God, like, did you get like a, what? Did something happen?
Those wave things, man.
I'm
That's
telling
so
you, dude.
cool.
Right. I find it so funny. Like, I've gotten a whole new hairstyle. Matt hasn't even reacted in any way. Like, he hasn't even said nothing. He's just like, yeah, you know.
We all out here doing shit, man. I
right,
got
my
scumbag fucking Gordon Gekko hair. You got your new thing. So
I mean, yeah. It's funny because Matt looks always either is from like, you're actually kind of like low key on some like stranger danger notice, because like you either have a pedo-stache up or a big thick creep beard, or you have a clean cut. And then the clean cut is a pedo look, because then it's like one of them angel
stop
pedos.
telling me I look like a pedo, son. My wife just agreed with you. She said I look like a pedo, son of a bitch.
Hey man, when you had that big stash, dog, you be a little. Hey, I'll be hiding the kids, man. I hide the kids, hide the wife.
I can't help it, man.
It's really not your fault. It's just that a lot of pedos look like you.
Yeah.
You know,
Aaron tells the real truth. Here on out. You look like a pedo. I'm not.
Okay.
You know, that was a great way to just like say that. It's like, you know what, man? Like, it's not like you look like a pedo. It's that a lot of pedos look like you.
I'm just saying, man. Like,
I honestly, I can't even argue with you, because right now I got slick back hair that's too long that could be pulled back into like a rat tail if I wanted to.
Yeah. And see, that's what it is.
Scraggly beard, you know, I get it.
Do the creep and do the creep.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see me on Cops in like whitey, you know, tighty whiteys and like a wife beater with like a blood stain.
I mean, that can happen to anybody.
Like, don't take my husband.
I was about to say, that can happen to anybody. All that takes is just one too many beers, and you know that can like the cops will come in your house. It's like, man, why are you naked? So it's like, this is my home. It's like they arrested me for being naked in my house, y'all.
No, I thought this was America. I thought I could do what I wanted in my own domicile.
Exactly. It's like, sir, you were not in your house, okay? You were in your neighbor's home, first off. It's like, okay,
well,
you sober up.
Sir, we just got to take you in. You look like a pedophile, so we have questions. So.
It's like, you know what? I get this all the time. Anytime I walk past the school, this happens. But you know what it is. I can tell you how to unpedo your look, okay? You just have to go to the barber, because like, see, that's what they do. Like, pedos will be groomed, but not like perfected groomed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not like dirty, you know what I mean? But you don't have like a perfect cut. You don't have your beard lined up like it could be. I'm not hating on you, but I'm just saying, like,
No,
you know what I mean? Like, that's what
I'm not
you know
gonna
what I mean?
say I'm not hurting inside from the realization I look like a lot of pedos, quote unquote. But I get it. I'm like realistic enough to acknowledge it. I say it every day when I comb my hair in the morning. It's just, I mean, right now I look like right after the guy who's about like Richard Ramirez is about to kill a guy. Like this is what he was doing in the mirror in that documentary.
You look like Buffalo Bill, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Like, you got to put your dick.
Puts the lotion on its skin. No!
Well, say it, don't spray it, brother. Dang.
Pussy
Put
is
the
tucked
lotion
in.
in the basket. Aaron, if I showed up, if I just turned the Zoom camera on and I'm doing fucking
Oh God.
goodbye horses.
We would really. I'd have to question my friendship with you. Like, I'd call your mom on you and be like, "Hey, I think Matt need. I think he might be in trouble.
Quarantine's
Like,
taking its toll, guys."
Yeah, I'd be like, we might need to take a flight to LA and go check on your son. I'm gonna come out there too. We're gonna go there Thursday. We just go get plane tickets.
I just show up in a robe with man pussy. Show you like, oh, like guys, I don't know what the problem is. I'm just living this life.
Oh man. But okay. So we being stupid, y'all. Sorry. We
I look
actually
like
do
a
have a
pedo.
topic.
We can move on from it. I get it.
We actually do have topics today. But on the flip side, though, I will say that, like, as me, like, I have like even worse shit, because it's like if I get my hair braided, it's like, oh, you look like a thug or a villain or a gangster, if you want to go with, you know, traditional stuff.
I feel like the haircut you're doing now is just. I mean,
it's more acceptable.
It's
now.
Like you've seen it all. If you're like into hip hop, you've seen all the haircut. Like if you're a white person uncomfortable with this, like you must just be like listening to Garth Brooks. And,
it's not that they're uncomfortable with it. It's that they have never realized.
They don't realize the
any black person can do that. Yeah. You know?
The customization options that you have are like, I can't do anything with it. I have like Asian doll
style your hair.
I mean, I could braid it and look like D at the Jersey Shore, but that's like all I can do.
Nah, man, like you could get like mousse in your hair though and do like that thing, like the sloppy thing too. Like white people have different styles.
I don't have enough. See, Aaron, that's my dilemma is like what I have. See, a man with like thick hair could do that. They could coif it and make something happen. Me, it's like so thin that if I do that, you're gonna be able just to see directly through it, and it's gonna.
Buddy, you comb over watch, buddy. You better chill.
You can't see it. Like I do a pretty good job, but if somebody is 7 foot tall, they're gonna see the dilemma I have. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's funny. My buddy growing up, man, he started losing his hair when he was like 25, bro. And I know, man. I mean, you remember LaFrance in school? Like he was our age and he was losing his hair, and I just remember being like, God damn, bro. Like I just ain't strong enough, man. I'm not enough of a man to go out there and live like that, Joe. I'd be wearing a hat every day.
I knew somebody that had like legit white dude, like nerdy white male pattern baldness, where it was starting, where they get like the little thing in the front, but then it just gets all wispy in the middle and stuff. Man. And I mean, we were in our like early 20s at that. So a guy like that, I think, you know, he was like trying to take Rogaine and shit, but I'm sure if I saw him now, he just looks like a fucking chemist, you know.
I swear I used to be in high school with this kid that I think was 82 years old, bro. Like I swear it was this kid in my high school. I don't know his name. I've never met this guy. I just would see him from afar and be like, that motherfucker is 75. Like he just came back to high school. It was like that dude old as shit, but he probably was younger than me. And it's just like, what are you gonna look like when you're 50? Like that dude gonna look like a fucking. He probably just gonna still look the same, most likely. Hopefully, he just keeps looking that same way and don't get any older looking. But if you already look old when you're young, what happens when you get old? You know,
it's like slow Benjamin Buttons, where you know it's like you look 50 and you're 21. You know, it's not gonna end well. You're not gonna like return to greatness ever, or take a pill and you know look like you're 20 again. I knew a kid when I remember when I moved to Ohio. Yeah, I was 10. And there was a kid, shout out Matt Bishop, who was a white dude, but he was in 6th grade, legit like 6 foot tall, with like man build almost. and a mustache, like a legit, not this,
yes,
but not
yes.
a young mustache. And
yes.
but we were in 6th grade. I was like, I'm in a fucking school with a grown man. Like I thought he was a slow kid that just like was in 6th grade a lot. No, the kid was like a genius. He just fucking. His dad must have been doing heavy roids or something.
I don't know. That's like my homie growing up, man. Shout out Ralph McDonald, man. Like he was
Ralph McDonald. Was he 60 years old when you knew him?
Bro, I'm trying to tell you. First off, Ralph was like had the most detailed bicep I've ever seen on a human still to this day that didn't really work out. Like this dude like flexed one time. He had the bicep, and then he had the little bicep on top of the bicep. That
doesn't it piss you off? He probably never worked out at all. He's just like, yeah, it's just I just do this. This is
like
me.
6'2" in 8th grade. Was on every team, basketball, football. Like he would shake your hand and wrap his hand around your hand, basically, and like felt like cement bricks in his hand. I was just like, dude, how are you this fucking big? But just the nicest, coolest dude ever, man. Like we used to play ball all the time, and like he couldn't shoot when we was younger. So like he was just big, you know what I mean? So like we kind of play with him, bro. He got on the basketball team and got a jump shot. It was a wrap. I remember he was pulling up from places I didn't even think was possible. I looked at him, I said, bro, I can't do it no more. I said, you the man now. like you going to the league, son. It's like you it, man. Like we ain't never know what to think after that, dog. Like I remember me and my other homies that we've been playing every day. Like looked at each other, was just like, that dude is Jesus Christ on the court now, dog. Like I'm surprised he ain't dunk on nobody, man. I think he was just being nice and they felt like it, but he probably could have just put his elbow in the rim for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
That shit sucked when you were, when you were young, super young, and you didn't have any of the disillusionment of life where you could dream of being a pro athlete, but there was no indication yet that it just wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
I remember like what you said with that guy. We would play, like tackle football, like in just like an intramural field near our school. And I remember one time I was like in 9th grade. So I was fat, but I still like in my head was like, I can probably become a football player because I was good, like Chris Farley fat, like that type of athletic.
Yeah.
And I remember this dude, I think everyone called him Grim, but he was like a senior, right?
Oh my God.
And you remember the character Boo Radley? Like it was a character in some book, but it was just like this big hulking dude, right?
Yeah.
Well, this dude was senior. He must have been 300 pounds, but he was like a good wrestler. One of those like super heavyweight dudes. Well, we were playing and he came and started playing with us. And that's the day my dreams got shattered because I thought I could even play on offense. Well, I got the ball to me and I pushed a guy. I did the thing where you run behind somebody and you almost push the blocker into the dude. He literally grabbed the guy I pushed, held him, and then tackled me in a violent way. And I was never the same again because it was like getting hit by a car that was aiming for you. It sucked.
Oh, man.
And it was scary.
God.
Shout out to Grim. I forget what that guy's name is, but that motherfucker.
I mean, but the thing too is to be a football player, you have to have a certain type of crazy in you anyways, because like even people that are good athletes, that same thing happens to them and they're like, oh, I'm not doing this. Because like it's plenty of basketball players that was like, oh, I stepped on that field one day until one of them big motherfuckers knocked my head off, and then I ain't never stepped back on that joint. I knew I wasn't gonna do it. Like it's not even that I'm not tough or nothing. Like I felt like I could have been tough enough to play. I just was off rip new because like I used to play baseball and stuff, and like always dealt with just kind of like tender ankles and sore, like wrist and shit. And I was just like, man, playing football, it ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. So I was like, I ain't doing all that.
I think I dodged the bullet. I was just like too lazy to play football, even though like I was so big, like a coach would ask me to try because they need like a lineman or a guard or some shit.
They do that to every kid in high school.
Yeah, exactly. Bro. If you're fat, they'll try and they'll be like, hey, we need this guy. But I never even had the will to try that. Even though I was a football fan, it was just I was too lazy. I wanted to play Goldeneye and fuck around with my buddies instead of do that.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you don't have that initial drive, dude, to like get to the NFL or at least like get into college playing football, like
to
I don't know
work
if any,
out.
like I don't think anybody should do it. Like if you don't have that willpower, because like otherwise the goal would be to get a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Basically, so you can like better yourself even more. But like you risk a lot with your body that people don't understand. Like you're just hella young, but like all them dudes, man, like every single one of them that I've ever seen later on, even the biggest of them is like, I mean, I still be dealing with aches and pains, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, they just been getting car wrecks for 5 years straight. And it's like, don't nobody else do that in their regular life. And you be sore. Like you're sore sitting at the desk all day and you're not getting run into by a 400-pound dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember Joe Rogan was talking to some fighter about, or maybe it was a guy who was like joking about wanting to fight. But he was saying to the dude, I think it was actually like a UFC fighter who was just sort of sucking and not acknowledging he shouldn't be in the UFC type things, you know. And he told the guy, you can't half-ass this, you know, fighting especially, because look at somebody like Mike Tyson in his prime. He would go out and he would literally do shit to make it, like things nobody would do. He would train, he would do things.
Bro, he would hypnotize himself.
Yeah, exactly.
To go in there and kill somebody.
And he's like, there's a guy like that who's willing to do that. So if you're not willing to do that, understand that you're going to be put up against Mike Tyson at some point, and then you're going to probably suffer a horrible injury, of like a Tom Segura level injury.
So dude, Khabib is like, yeah, man, I've always thought it would be cool to be a fighter, so I got into it when I was like 12 and then like 15. Or I was like, I've been wrestling bear since I was 3 years old.
You know, I was doing a step class, and this guy told me I had good form, so I just got into it, and I just thought it would be cool to fight, so I'm gonna do a fight. Let's fight.
I used to wrestle bear with my hands as a child. Like bear? What do you mean a bear? Like you mean you're like a
Yeah, I wrestle bears too. I have a bear in my room right now. It's 300 pounds. We wrestle all the time.
No, I mean bear, like grizzly, like brown. Animal.
I'm gonna just do my Taibo. That's my specialty. So hopefully, you know.
I know, dude. Like that guy.
That's the mentality. Like, think of a guy like T.O. In his prime. Man. Somebody who's mentally, like, he was a mentally unstable dude, but he had that drive to be like an X-Men level athlete where, you know, it was crazy? Like a comic book.
Check this out. It's funny that you brought this up. And actually you should watch this because he is on this thing too. But Brandon Marshall, like, I don't know if you know, like, if you ever watch like Fox Sports 1 really, but Chris Collinsworth used to have a show with that dude, I always forget his name, with the really long nose in the morning. Nick Wright is what his name is. I think you've seen him. So you've seen that show before. And like Chris Collinsworth got kicked off. They never said why. You know, it's probably like, you know, some shit, whatever. Like
Chris Collinsworth?
Yeah, you remember the receiver from the Vikings? Yeah.
No, isn't that the Bengals, the guy that's always on.
No. I'm sorry, not Chris Carter. I'm sorry.
Carter. Okay, I was like Chris Collinsworth. That motherfucker works all the time.
Chris Carter. Damn.
Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. I definitely remember him.
Yeah. So he got kicked off, but they brought Brandon Marshall and another guy in to fill in his spot now, so that Nick Wright can like just talk to other people. So they do like 4-way now instead of just 2 people talking. But the dude on there, Brandon Marshall, you know, he had all them problems as a receiver and was like went kind of like crazy. Like you remember all that stuff? Like he was like he spoke out about mental health and all that. And like, so he has a podcast now, and he had T.O. on there, and they was talking. And it was dope because one of the things that he was saying about, because he had the same thing, they were talking about like their headspace and all that. And he was saying, man, like for real, the problem with, because that's what Brandon Marshall said, the problem with people like us, man, is like we want to win so bad. And we think that we're the best player on the team. So we think to ourselves, the best way for the team to win is to give me the ball.
Yeah.
So give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? And like when you say that though, and you say it the wrong way, people start getting mad at you. You know what I'm saying? And then T.O. was like, what you're saying is exactly what my issue is.
I think that's like a wide receiver thing in general too, because you look at a guy like any guy who gets pissed when you're not throwing him the rock. I mean, of course, they went through every level of athletics, and they were the guy. And even in the pros, like T.O., you can talk all the shit you want about anybody, but T.O., we can focus on him. He might have caused a lot of ruckus, But that motherfucker backed it up. Unless maybe not on the Bills when he was on the Bills at the end of his career, but that wasn't his fault.
Bro, he still had like 900 yards that year.
The motherfucker can still burn. They showed him running recently. He can outrun NFL athletes.
Dude,
so
you know he wants to play still, dog. Like that's one of the saddest things about.
Hey, Steelers, get him.
No, don't forget it. But that's the thing. Like he always still wants to play though. Like if you asked him, he would say he would go step on the field right now. But
like Ocho Cinco, you tell me he wasn't like that too. Like that people are wide receivers.
That's what they were saying.
They have to think like that, or you're not going to succeed.
That's what he was saying, but he was like saying that, because it's a dependent position, you have to understand how to chill. Because that's what Brandon Marshall was saying. It's like he realized later, it's like it wasn't even that I was unstable necessarily. I just had that mentality so bad, and I cared about it almost too much. Where it was like I just want to fucking win. And if I don't get a chance to like show my ability, then we didn't have the best chance to win. You know what I mean? It's like I understand.
Had a shit quarterback too.
Bro, that dude still managed to be a successful player with garbage quarterbacks that rotated
Cutler,
in and out.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Like he's actually, it's weird, man, because that's what his podcast is almost basically what our podcast is. Just talk about everyday life. It's just from the perspective of athletes. Because it's him, Fred Taylor, Ocho Cinco, and another dude that played for the Dolphins. I forgot his name. That always come on. Yeah, and then they'll have guests. So like they had like T.O. I think they had I forgot who else came on there. Somebody else came on there before though. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's just cool, man. Like it's dope because they were saying that and I was like, damn, man, that makes you kind of really even feel worse for T.O. Because I never thought T.O. was a bad person, man. Like I think what it really was, number one, that stuff that with the Eagles made him look so bad. But really what happened was that Donovan McNabb low-key kind of did some fucked up shit to him. Yeah. And but then spun it so that he came out looking terrible. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that really was around that, I've seen like Brian Westbrook talk about it and shit. They was like, man, honestly, T.O. kind of was trying to play it low for a good little minute. And then he got blown up.
He got injured and he was doing everything right, in life, in the actual practice of what was going on with the Eagles. But there were people that didn't like his attitude. And I think that my thing with T.O. was, first of all, I'm like you. I never thought he was like a locker room cancer other than people would make that shit come true. It's almost, it got to a point with him where.
Well, he did do that shit in San Francisco. He did.
I was going to say. In San Francisco, he burned a bridge, but.
He did that because he wanted a new contract, though. And that's the thing. Like other people have done kind of the same type of shit.
He did Jeff Garcia dirty. He was calling him.
Yeah, that's why I say he was fucked up. Yeah, he was fucked up for that.
He got out. He went to the Eagles, and he did everything he fucking needed to. He won games. They got to the fucking Super Bowl. He was injured, played his ass off, and never got the credit for that because they did shit on him. But I feel like what happened to him was. That's when the ESPN model that's happening now, where it is just guys talking so much. It's not Sports Center and then live sporting events. It's 5 hours of people talking about an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
And he was one of the first people that was targeted in that. And they went, Skip Bayless used to call him Team Obliterator, I remember.
Right.
And Colin Cowherd would shit on him. It almost seemed like ESPN itself wanted to shit on him. So
it just was a good topic. It was something to always talk about. You know what I'm saying?
And then he would do shit too. But here's the thing about T.O. that I like, but it's not a good move if you're a pro athlete. He was, again, a great athlete. But whenever somebody would bring something up that it wasn't necessarily true, he would be like, I'm gonna do some fuck you shit publicly just because I can, because I'm T.O.
Right.
So when he was I think it was when he was on the Cowboys and he was just doing crunches, doing an interview, talking about shit. He didn't have to do that. Hey, but man. It was a fuck you to whoever was fucking with them. And
T.O. Dude, you saw what he did when he was on the Cowboys? This is why I love and hate T.O. because I didn't want him to be a Dallas Cowboy, but when he became one, he actually was playing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like it was going well. You know what I mean? But then he got crazy and wasn't getting the ball enough in his mind. And honestly, he did have a point because a lot of times I think that they were scheming the offense in a way where he was just there to take double coverages. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really like getting like his yards like he wanted. You know what I mean? And maybe even he had a contract based off that. We don't know, because it might have been he needed to get 1,000 yards to make certain money. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he probably was getting mad about that too. But the thing is like he went on Sunday Night Football one night, went out with all them people, sat down in an interview. I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys didn't know about this, but basically goes in there and flames Jason Garrett, Tony Romo, Jason Witten. It's like, yeah, they just keep throwing the ball to Jason Witten all day. They needed to give me the ball. It's like, I don't understand why they're keeping an offense like this. I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing on the field about to play that same game? Like, this was amazing, dude. Everybody else had to just be like, oh yeah, we don't know what he's talking about. Like, no, we don't have nothing to say about that. Like, Tony Romo's got to like play it off like it's not a big deal. It's like, dude, Jason Garrett's about to be the next head coach, and you just came out nationally and was like, yeah, he'll know what he's doing. It's like, you're probably about to get fired, bro. Like,
I mean,
I knew then and then.
That fuck you thing would go off, you know, it would take him off the rails every once in a while, but
But you gotta love it though.
I feel like that's like a product of how he was treated throughout the years, you know. I feel had he been given his due a little bit more earlier, and people would have acknowledged this guy is great. And yeah, he is a shit talker, but show me where he's not backing it up.
Well, I think you had the best point. Is that them sports talk people all rolled on him, and nobody really did say that he was a good person in response. You know what I'm saying?
And he is, like, when you hear him talk, because I've heard him talk on other things, and when you hear him talk, I mean, he doesn't seem like a shitty dude. You know, it's not like Antonio Brown. When I hear him talking just normally, he sounds like somebody I don't want to talk to. He sounds like a lunatic. You know, he doesn't sound like a nice guy. Whereas T.O., it's just like a guy who's cocky as fuck, but at the center of it, he didn't seem like he, other than the Jeff Garcia thing. The Jeff Garcia thing, out of pocket. I don't know where that came from, but you know.
This shit was so funny, dog. Because it was like they egged him on, and then he was just like, you know, people would just be like mad, so he just be kind of talking, you know what I'm saying? So he just was kind of doing that, but in front of cameras. So he's just like, man, I don't know, man. Like they trip. He was like, they tripping up here in San Francisco, man. And then Jeff Garcia, it's like, man, he always be up in my face and shit. It's like, he might be gay, for real. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't here to talk about all that.
Jeff's
just like talking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just out there just throwing jabs. And it's like, bro, like, you caught a super straight right there.
I gotta throw the ball to you, man.
It's like, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is, I was in the locker room. I saw him looking at me in the eye. You don't be looking on the man.
I mean, I can tell you right now, T.O., I got a pipe, okay? You gonna look. But Jeff looked too long, okay? Looking way too long. Jeff, he'd be thinking about my booty hole. That's what I'm saying about anyway. I'm saying, bro.
But that's how we did him, though. That's how we did it, though. He just threw that shit out there, you know what I mean? So
I feel like also what probably, if you think about his whole career, when he really got that heat is when he did that Dallas Cowboys star thing.
Yeah.
So if you really want to go super conspiracy, I think Jerry Jones was just like, anytime the media, he put out like a media announcement. Anytime T.O. comes up, shit on him. Buried as fuck.
Skip Bayless is a Dallas Cowboy fan, so
I mean,
you know, the connections are simple.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he did, man. He used to go in, and then sat there and sung his praises when he was on the Cowboys all the times. But you know, the Cowboys are just who they are. So
we don't want to get into that, Aaron.
Yeah,
who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Just say it real quick off the top of your head.
Man, I'm about to say motherfucking Tom Brady going to win that shit, man. Again.
I kind of want him to. I don't want him to because it's Tom Brady, but I don't want Mahomes to get 2 in a row. So
they're about to though.
Yeah, they
Dude,
are. They are.
I watched that last game that they played. That offense, it's really not even that any of those guys are really all that great. Like, they are good, don't get me wrong, but like that offense is schemed in a way where so many things going on, dog, and all the plays look the same though. Because like they'll run one type of look where like they'll put this dude in motion, and then sometimes like they could give him the ball, but then they don't, and then they run out of that. But then sometimes they do that shit and they'll pass out of that, but they'll do a short pass. And then sometimes they'll do that shit out of play action. It's just like they do so many different things out of the same looks where it's like, bro, I don't even know how you really supposed to know what to do, because you have to follow that guy in the motion, and it's fucking Tyreek Hill, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't just let him run openly across field. So if you try to play zone, he gonna take off. You try to play man, he gonna take off. It's just that shit crazy.
Also, I think that team shows you the utility of having a superstar tight end that can really catch up.
That guy's a monster, dude.
I mean, he can, and I mean, Mahomes does take licks, so I don't know if he's necessarily the best blocker, but he's good enough. And he is straight up like Antonio Gates and his prime level beast.
Yes. Like that's the thing about him, dude. Is like people like want to say Phillip Rivers, like because he just retired, like whatever was all good and shit. Like he was good because of Antonio Gates, dog.
Yeah.
Like all them stats was because of that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the truth, bro. Because like when Gates left, his game kind of changed a little bit too. Like don't get me wrong, Rivers could still ball, but it wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying?
Antonio Gates does not get enough credit. That guy was, first of all, one of the first like basketball hybrid football players.
Straight monster.
Straight beast. I mean, he would single-handedly as a tight end like beat your team.
I think he led the league in touchdowns. I think he led the league in touchdowns a few years as a tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some crazy shit.
Steelers many times, and we had like Palomalu and shit. We still couldn't contain that dude.
Yeah, bro. But I mean, Kelsey, dude, like that guy just, I don't know, man. Like you said, he just got hands, man. Like it's not even that he's really like doing anything special. He just jumps up there, grabs the ball, and pulls it out, and be like, "Yeah, I got it."
Dude, he's a Gronk type dude that if you put it anywhere near him, nobody can get around him enough to get at the ball. So if it's in the right spot, he can catch it. You know, so we'll see. I don't want him to win. I don't really want any of these teams to win. Fuck them both.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Tampa Bay, they don't, you know, I guess they need something. That city is a shithole. So
they won a Super Bowl before, didn't they? They won with Tampa with Warren Sapp.
When,
y'all good.
I think Gruden was the coach, or maybe
y'all cool. Yeah, it was Gruden that won that joint with Dungy's team.
That's what it was. Yeah, he left.
Get into that. Yeah. Even though the Raiders do look pretty good, but you know they're not gonna win a Super Bowl. But yeah, man. You know, we had our football talk. I was actually gonna say like this could we might want to just edit some of that out or whatever. You know,
it's all good. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Oh yeah, but I did want to bring up another topic which I thought was interesting.
What's
that idea of just like trying to be like an ultimate cool ass person all the fucking time. Okay. Like I don't know if that even makes any sense, but like okay, so I was thinking about
just be me.
Okay, well, this is crazy because this is where this all kind of developed from, right? Like I was thinking about my dad, and I was like, man, like you know how people be like telling dad jokes and shit, you know what I'm saying? And like it's like corny, you know what I mean? But it's like a joke that a dad would tell. And I was thinking, is that because dad jokes are from like an era where just that type of person, you know what I'm saying? Like in that era came up in that corny comedy era. You know what I'm saying? Like your dad, like both our dads are similar age groups, you know what I'm saying? So like they just have that sense of humor because that's how people were funny back in the day. So like when we get older, like the dad jokes will be like more R-rated, I guess, because we're a more fucked up generation. So it's like, what would be like my dad joke as a dad? You know what I'm saying? Like when you get older. But like, I don't know if that works that way. Cause like everybody just considers a dad joke to be a corny joke. But I was saying like, what if it's not that it's corny? What if it's just that it's like, everybody was just corny back when your dad thought shit was funny. Like everybody back in the day in the 70s, if you just was like, hey, you better tie your shoe, you caboose, and step on a crack, break your mama's back, some shit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody just like, ha, dying, laughing. Like, what if everybody just was hella corny back in the day?
I mean, I feel like here's the thing here that we both can't acknowledge because we didn't grow up then. I feel like the dad jokes that we aren't hearing are probably a lot of racist shits that, you know, like old black dude would say or old white dude would say.
Well, that's a joke. You know what I'm saying? That's
like a dad joke. I feel like that's an eternal thing. I don't think that changes with the generation, although I'm sure like maybe the tone will change where we're talking about like nut busting and
well, that's you know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely gonna be an old man talking like that. If I make it to old age, I'm definitely gonna be talking like that.
I mean, I can already see. Like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna kind of feel sorry for my kids because I'm just gonna be like the coolest dad when I get to be a kid. Like, if I have kids, it's just gonna get to the point where I'm just like, look, as soon as they start crying, I'm like, look, man, you crying, but I also have this thing where you could not cry and you could get a whole bunch of stuff that you like. Like, what do you think about
You
that?
like
You know what I'm saying?
Nintendo?
All right.
If you stop that, you get one. I mean, I think
Right.
you and I would both be good parents. I don't think I'll ever be one. I can't have my own kid, but I think if I was a dad, me and Kendra take her nephew every once in a while and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's cool, man. It would definitely be like a trippy experience, a very like almost psychedelic experience having a kid. You don't really associate that, but it like alters shit. Even just getting this is
Yeah.
such a cliche thing to say, but even getting like a dog that you have to take care of, and like I never had a dog that I
Yeah.
that was my dog, but just even doing that, you see like all the shit you didn't think you'd care about or pay for or do associated with that. So I can only imagine when you actually have like Sean, like
Yeah.
having a
I know, right?
and having a kid that's younger than your kid and having
Oh
this.
man.
It must be so crazy. It's such a different
Bro, I look at I seen like some old pictures of my dad like with this big ass afro and shit holding up like me and my sister as kids, and I'm just like, that dude was like 30 years old right there in that picture, man. Like that shit is crazy, man.
That's what's wild when you get older, to see your parents like as you see pictures of them and they're the age you are, and you just
right.
like, this is a guy who is probably just partly enjoying himself. It's like
Right.
My dad, it's all this like long hair. He has like that 70s mustache shit. And with a beer, some of them still smoking. It's like this guy was still trying to figure it out too. It's wild to actually be at that age,
It's like, think about this. Like since we're talking about generational evolutions and shit, I was thinking about when people be dancing and shit. Who thought up like the idea of like bumping and grinding or whatever when you're in the club? Your mama and daddy did, dog. That's what's so crazy weird about that shit. That's crazy, right? It makes you not even want to do that shit. I was like, yeah, man, you know who thought that shit up? Like, your parents did, like straight up, because like that's where you did get that shit from. Like, you can't even argue that.
So like, there's like old dudes. That's why I wish I could have old friends. I could. I mean, but I just wish I did. Like honest old friends that will just sort of talk like we talk.
Yeah.
Like, man, dude, back in the day, like I was just getting pussy.
Let me tell you a story about that, okay? So I used to work for the train system in Atlanta for MARTA, you know what I'm saying? And like my job was like you just would ride the buses and train routes, and you would always have another person you would work with, you know what I'm saying? So like I was one of the youngest people there. It was like me and this other guy who was 22, but everybody else was like in their 30s, 40s, some people in their 50s. I think one lady was like mad old, you know what I'm saying? But like you would just work, like she's probably like 60 years old or something, you know what I'm saying? So like she might even be 70, like she was like a little old lady. So like you would always just work with the people because you had to like watch each other back, you know what I'm saying, too. But at the same time, like y'all would take turns riding the bus. So like somebody would be in the front, you would be in the back. So if somebody sat in the back, you would get them. Somebody sat in the front, you would get them like switching off and on to do the survey with somebody. So nothing hard, but just easy money to make through college. Like I'd be getting like every check, like $500. Like when you're in college, man, you making constant money. You only working a few hours every day, and you got some bread. Like that shit was heaven sent. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm doing that, and I used to work with this old dude, man. He had to be like probably like going on 70, and bro, he was the most conspiratorial, like ultra black. But like ultra black dude, and he was from like the Dominican Republic or something like that, so he had an accent too. So like he always sounded like kind of like Mufasa on the low, but like telling you like the most craziest, dopest shit you would ever want to hear, where you're just like, yeah, man, the government, they stealing everybody's money, okay? Because look, they be tricking you because the money's not real. It's not backed by gold, and like he would be saying that, right? So like me, I dig that shit. So like me and him got along. Like he would see me when I work with him, dude, and his eyes would light up and be like, "Aaron, come here, man." Like he wouldn't even do his job sometimes because he'd be so deep into talking, right? But he had the way of bringing people in, where like other people would be on the bus listening to him, right? So like everybody be on the bus be like, yeah, man, you telling the truth, dog. Like they out here trying to fool everybody, cause you in the bus in Atlanta, like, like you go see some characters anyway.
Like an excuse that why their life's so fucked up, basically.
Oh, exactly, man. It's people going through a lot of different things, man. But this dude, I'm talking about, he would be laying down the knowledge. Like one day he was like, "Don't ever eat pork, my brother, because the pork is a mixture. It's a hybrid chimera animal made from a rat, a bat, a pig. No, he said a boar, a cat, and a dog. So if you eat it, you like." He was saying this shit. I was like, bro, this is amazing. I was like, this is amazing right now, dude. Like I used to just sometimes be sitting back laughing because like it would be like white people on the train and shit, and he'd be sitting there going in like. It's like, you know what it is? It's like the white man. They be trying to trick you. Like,
and I'm sitting like,
I swear to God, bro. And he'd be sitting right there with the martyr jacket on, not giving a fuck. And I'd be like, dog, this is amazing right now. Like, this is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Like, I like, this was before like camera phone was like really like popping like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was like, that was like early 2006-ish, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't have one, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure somebody had, like that was like still sidekicks and shit. Yeah. So like, bruh, had that dude been on film and
give
somebody
him a
caught
podcast.
him doing that,
call that guy up. Let's get him on the show.
Bro. I don't mean that was like what 30 years ago. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was 10, 15 years ago. I don't know how long, you know. I ain't trying to say. But he was old, man. I'm saying he was old. So, I mean, hopefully he's still doing that shit.
Motherfucker was onto the shit, though. He's probably living his best life right now.
I'm trying to tell you, man, this dude would be connecting some dots, bro. Like, I can't even remember everything he done told me, but it would just be funny because, like, me, man, I'd be sitting there laughing and then, like, you know, he'd be thinking he putting you on game and then I'd bring some shit up like, yeah, man, and you know the Tuskegee experiments and stuff like that.
Just and he'd be like some bomb.
Like, I'm telling you, dude, like his eyes will light up and he'd be like, yes, man, you know about that? Oh, yes. And like he'll just be going.
No, Reagan brought crack into the black community, right?
I used to just go just like exactly. Exactly, dog. I used to just go on the most funniest bus rides with him, dog. Like literally one time me and him were trying to whisper about it, and this other dude was listening to us. Cause like it was like a lot of people in the bus, so we didn't want to be loud. And the other dude was listening, like, no, brother, no, tell it, man, tell it. I want to hear it too. It's like if you got the knowledge, share it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So then somebody else like, yeah. In the back, I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, where are we at? This is the greatest thing ever. Like, so funny, man.
Sermons on a bus, dude.
But that was like my best friend on the low. Like when I was at college in Atlanta and shit, like I don't know, man. Like I had friends and shit, but I would never really like fuck with nobody too hard just because I just was never like big on getting ultra fucked up and like wanting to go and bang a whole bunch of chicks or even trying. Like I would talk to girls, but I would never like really follow through on none of that shit. I don't know, man. I was still young and trying to figure all that shit
out. I was
out,
never like that either, though, dude. I unfortunately lived and my whole peer group in college was people like that because that's all Ohio kids. It's either you do that shit or you're basically living like Def Leppard in the 80s type shit, where you're just like going ham. But I was never like that. And also I was fat for most of it, but I liked to get drunk when I was young, but it was a drunk you could not maintain. As I could even see as a young kid, I was like, well, if I keep doing this, like binge drinking like this, I'm gonna fucking die. So, and then you just start like, what's fun about puking and all that shit? I just never enjoyed any of that. So I get it from that thing. I had a lot of good friends, but it was all weed was probably like the connecting thing that got me to hang out with them. And then you do find out those shared things, but I don't know. Also being in like a bigger city like that must be kind of fucking wild to go to college in a place like that.
I mean, not just that, like you have access to literally anything that you could possibly imagine because it's, you know, like you said, one of them cities where it's like, hey, you want to, you know, you can go get some pussy if you really want to, young man. You know what I'm saying? Like people tell you like that. And
I can get you some pussy, man.
It's like, bro, it's like, it's not that I can't get it, bro. It's like, I don't feel like that's a good thing to do to people. It's funny because like, I was thinking about this too, where like, I was talking about my dad or whatever, but like, he always would try to like be nice to people and like make them laugh or just be funny and shit into situations that he didn't really have to. Like if he didn't do that, like nobody would have been like, oh, you're a bad person. Like he just would literally just unnecessarily sometimes like crack a joke and try to lighten the mood or make someone smile. And I'd be like, that's crazy to think somebody would want to do that as his goal. And that's what he even told me. He's like, I just like seeing other people be happy, man. Like doing that makes me feel good. Yeah, man. And I was just like, damn, dog, like inside, I be wanting to do that shit too, but I kind of don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the other day I had a guy at my job that I started, like, I never seen him before, like young little white kid. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? Just instantly started talking to me, like when he realized I was working there or whatever. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, you know, he ain't even like an instantaneous little thing of trying to be shy. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I
like
mean,
then
it's
I felt bad,
man. Even when we went to school, I don't know why we started. I remember when we started talking, but it is weird. You just sometimes, I'm the same way. I don't know if it is because I'm shy and I don't. It's just hard to get to know somebody, but that's cool. Like being like your dad was, where you're just you go out and you don't even like planning on it. It's just, oh, here's an opportunity. I see it, I'm gonna do it. I don't do that either, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and the thing is, like, off the cuff, he would be like hella funny in situations, dog. And it's like I be hearing that same shit, like that same sense of humor in my head, like, man, I should say that right now because everybody would probably laugh. But then I'd be like, man, nah, because then they
do it. I bet. See, you think that, but that little voice that's telling you not to that's the voice you shouldn't be listening to anyway.
Well, you know what that is, man. I think I kind of got fucked up early on, like trying to be a thug in school, because we came up in that kind of like fake gangsterism era where you kind of had to like want to smile, but you had to look tough, or somebody would try you. You know what I'm saying? Or like, yeah, you had to look tough so nobody would pick on you. You know what I'm saying? And even when you would, people still will fuck with you because they just crazy ghetto kids or whatever the fuck it was, you know what I'm saying, just going on. So like I think like that kind of fucked me up a little bit, where it was like, man, I can't really be out here being all friendly, cracking jokes with these dudes all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm not even nowhere like that, dog. Like I would rather crack jokes with everybody and have fun, you know what I'm saying? Because like, why not? You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like I just was thinking like, what's wrong with making that change, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not even that it's a change necessarily, but just like with doing that more where you see the chance, because like my dad even told me one time, he was saying kind of like, I always just kind of saw that, you know, like I just kind of do that, not even thinking about it, just because it's just fun to, you know, see people be happy and, you know, just be everybody being just like, why, like why would I go in there and be acting me? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's that gonna get me? You know what I mean? And I was just like, that's crazy, man. Like, so just thinking on that shit just had maybe LA fucked me up a little bit too, because people are nice there, but they're weird. Where it's like, you know, some shit just start happening when you be around somebody where it's like, man, I don't know if I can keep fucking with this person because like they on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that's why I think I'm like that. I'm shy because I did get picked on when I was a kid, so it is hard for me. I get nervous around new people, but I'm getting better with that. But in LA, you know, honestly, I'm actually really good at talking to strangers because I work sales now and I just have to. So I'm used to just being, my thing is just being friendly. Like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Like being like you would at church, basically. That's my like sales tactic, being fucking Johnny straight laced, nice guy. But
Jim Halpert.
Exactly. That is exactly how I tailor my sales tactics. But shout out Jim Halpert. But out here, and even where I live now, I live in Long Beach now, so we're way out of LA proper. But there's still a little bit of that vibe. But if you're trying to be friendly in Ohio or where you're from, and you say, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" Most people go, "Oh, hey, I'm great. How are you?" Here, like you say it, and then you either get a weird like, "Hey," or they look at you like you were about to stab them in the throat with a knife.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
This is a bizarre place to be, where it's a beautiful place. It's cool. There's a lot of opportunity here, but we've said it. It's been said on so many things that you could watch about Hollywood and LA, but just the I don't know if it's because everyone's trying to become famous or if it's just because everybody's they're struggling so bad in their own situation that they don't want to really branch out at all, but there is a vibe here and a certain type of person here where you don't find it anywhere else, and it's not friendly. It's nervous and strange and awkward.
Yeah, man. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, I kind of felt some of that in Atlanta though too, where like you wouldn't like, but Atlanta was more, I think, on like a safety type of a thing, where it was like, we don't be talking to people we don't know necessarily
Yeah,
down
I
here. You know
get
what I'm
that.
saying? But it's the South though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I'm from Virginia, man. Like you walk down the street, you see somebody when y'all pass different ways, just give them a nod, acknowledgement, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of how we would do shit, and it's just always threw me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think what we're experiencing was that being from that, and then people don't do it. It's weird to us, but it's not weird to them because they have always kind of just been in that environment. Number one, and also maybe a lot of it's based off of us. A lot of people that are transient to LA in cities, big cities. So it's like you don't have a family in that city with you. You know what I'm saying? Where that can kind of like
Yeah,
be by your side, that you can really trust. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to really rely on people that you don't know. So to open yourself up to someone you don't kind of makes you vulnerable if they do you wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that dude, I don't know if you remember, at one time spent the night at our house because Thomas or whatever, like
yeah, I remember that dude.
that guy, his roommate stole his camera and fucked all this shit up because of he got jealous. Because I guess because he like scored with some chick he was trying to get at or something, which I don't even know the whole story behind all that, but that's kind of what it was. But like he said, like he was like, bro, like that dude punched him in the face, like in a whole bunch of crazy shit, stole his camera and all this crazy shit, and then like wouldn't let him back in the house to get the rest of his stuff. So I had to go over there with him and call the cops and wait on the police to go over there and like let him get his stuff, and like I put it in the car, and like that's why I let him come over there. Because I was like, man, it's fucked up. Like this dude was letting you, like calling you his roommate or whatever, letting you pay rent, all that, y'all got the agreement, and then he's just gonna up and get pissed off and whatever, and then like kick you out and just like, yeah, fuck you. And like, dude, like when I was over there, like I was like, man, I said to the cops, I was like, man, he's trying to get his camera, man. Like he's a cameraman, and we don't see his camera in here anymore. And then the dude was like, I don't know where it is. I don't know. And like, it's like you hit this
Is that
dude in the
guy
face.
white?
Yeah, a white dude. And he's like, he said, you hit my man's in the face, and now you're sitting here shrugging your shoulders, acting like, we're not gonna do shit about it. It's like, you lucky that I'm not where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Because if this had been somewhere else and I know you, like I know where you at, and like if this was really my people, I would have came back and tightened your ass up one day. Like it might not have been today, it might not have been tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you would have got your jaw knocked loose real quick for acting like that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
great.
And
I
I
mean,
would have got
he's
my man
lucky
camera.
that Thomas guy wasn't like a small dude either. I'd be like, if somebody
I mean,
did that
he
to me,
like,
I would straight up probably kill him because I'd go into
bro,
like,
Thomas legitimately like gained so much respect for me because I looked at him and was like, bro, he hit you in the face. He's like, yeah. I was like, what you do? It's like, man, I ain't do that. It's like, I couldn't hit him, man, because it's like, what I'm gonna do, man? It's like I'm trying to get my stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like I told him, it's like if it's like that, like I'll just leave. And then he tried to fight me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I'm not about all that. You know what
that's
I mean? I was like,
crazy.
yeah. I was like, you should, man, because like if you sit there and knock his ass out, then he gonna be crying and try to, get the police. I
Call
was
the
like,
cops.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
that's exactly
You know
what
what I
would
mean?
happen.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's acting like it's like some of the most bitch shit I've ever seen in my life, like legitimately to the point where it was like, oh, I wanted so bad to fuck that dude up. Like, and this wasn't even something somebody did to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just trying to help
Dealt with
somebody.
a lot of people like that too, though. Not like on that level, but like all those people that we would try to do video shit with, or we would get connected with because of those things we were doing with Sean, or just like
Right.
trying to do something and just talking to people and trying to be professional with people. It's just, I get why so many people get out here and get so overwhelmed that the city just I mean, people get crushed by the city. Like you made it out clean and just that you were able to be like, this ain't for me. I'm out.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, but it's like this place hasn't really changed me any. It just I understand what it is now, I guess.
Well,
But
also,
a bizarre thing to have to go through. And like
yeah,
those kind of people though, the thing about that I think it fucks with people like us is that when you deal with that, they make it seem like you've done something wrong.
yeah,
Like you're the at fault, even though it's all whatever in that situation, it was all that dude. But he
right.
went out of his way to make it feel like Thomas had done something or you've done something. So not only do you get like fucked up in the head because you failed or something happened and you're a part of it, but then you
Yeah,
got some asshole being slimy. Sean dealt with this fucking guy. I'm not gonna say his fucking name, but this guy that he was trying to like work with and he was friends with, that they just sort of done something creative together. And the guy was like a fucking complete douche, like one of those cancer type people where if you do something good, he's not happy about it.
Right.
Or it's not his idea, he don't like it.
Right.
I don't want to change what I'm doing. I want to do this and fuck your, that type of dude. And it's just, that's why I don't like necessarily. You'll find good people out here though. That's the other caveat. It's like for all the douche, there are like people like us, Sean, Matt Clark, those type of people that are just fun to work with.
Yeah, I mean, everybody we did Gang Inc. with, man, good people, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just like for real, I think what was really going on is that we were probably too good of a people in the sense of the way we were trying to go about things, being too nice.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Also, maybe being too roundabout instead of just being like, this is how this is how this goes. If you can't do it, then we don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just being like
collaborate. We would go above and beyond to try to make people feel like their ideas were
heard,
and heard, which is good. That's part of collaborating.
Right.
But when you're trying to get something made and it's your vision, at a certain point that just becomes counterproductive. If you're competent in what you're about to make, like we knew our process.
Yeah.
We knew how to get it done. And
right.
It's almost like sometimes that does something where it almost overcomplicates a situation to where you don't get what you want done. And that's when you have to put your foot down in that respect. But I don't know, man. I hate just shitting on LA, but it's one of those things where it's you'd think like, oh, this is it's like film school almost. I thought when I went to film school, I was going to be surrounded by all these creative, cool people that we're all on the same page. We all want to make movies and we all love movies and the creative aspects of that. But then you get into it and it's like everyone has their own bullshit and everyone's from a different place, or everyone's like nervous or scared to do things, and you can never get it to click because every time you involve somebody else, you see it fucks up your process. And we've talked about that before, but I mean that's where I got sick of it and where we stopped. This city sort of, for me, just like fuck my creativity up a little bit. But
well, you know what I think it is is that in any creative endeavor, like you said, people want to be included and stuff. And I think that maybe we might even be looking at it from a wrong perspective too, where that same thing I was saying with my dad, like maybe we're saying we were being too nice. Maybe we weren't even being nice enough. Cause like, here's something that I heard before that's crazy, but like, okay, if you are at a higher level than someone, or like, let's say like this, they were talking about spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like they were talking about enlightenment or whatever. And they were saying that an enlightened person doesn't get mad at an unenlightened person because they just don't know. So it's like you getting pissed off at like a dog pissing on the floor that's a puppy that hasn't been housebroken. You can't beat the shit out of that dog because it doesn't know to not pee in the house yet. You haven't trained it right. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of the same thing with like enlightenment. It's like you're just haven't reached this level of thought yet. And like I think what was going on with us creatively is like we were getting kind of really good at that shit. And like actually, like even in film school, like, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody that we went to film school with, but like we were even good at doing that, you know what I'm saying, when we were allowed to be let free and do things that we wanted in our space, you know what I'm saying? Because like every style, everything isn't for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like things are different, you know what I mean? Like I feel like maybe our style was what we were developing in the sense of like more documentarian, more commercial, in the sense of like funny ads, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like things like that we were doing in our mindset, and not really worrying about like trying to shoot like the next 4K crystal clear Chrysler commercial, you know what I'm saying? Or being like a grip on like a new high, like a green screen set or a movie. Cause like it's cool that you can do that and like they do pay you, you know what I'm saying? But like I just never really saw myself aspiring that in film school. Like I thought I was gonna go there, get to like write cool ass stories, get to see them play out, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even really do a lot of story development at the one we went to, which really kind of messed me up because like they made it seem so rudimentary, and it kind of is, but like I feel like that's why movies low-key suck, because they're not pushing the envelope no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And also
they just keep doing the same shit.
They didn't encourage like it was basically who's going to get the easiest thing, what's the easiest one of these, which should never be like a thought process when you're making it. I think it's sad because like what we did out here, like that kind of sketch comedy thing that's huge now, and Imagine if we were doing that back then. We were allowed to just get a camera and film a
Right.
funny little thing. Like they made that seem like it was so hard to get any of that done. It was just like a weird, annoying process to go through.
I mean, especially if you don't have your own stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like if you didn't have a camera and all that, where it's like you could just go and run and make it happen, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
like the people that had it could do it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, we were getting there, man. Like I said, I think that like a lot of it was still we was young too, you know what I'm saying? And like I don't think I've been hindered by anything, man. Like, I think anything that I really had ever wanted to do, I could do. The
Yep.
biggest problem is just getting to the point of maybe being so I don't even know, like lethargic or whatever to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because like to me, like the baseline thought process at the end of the day is like, I mean, I'm down to do it and make money and shit, but at the same time, it's like, man, I'm gonna have to do something harder than what I'm already doing. It's like I'm fine how I am. It's like, you don't have to have everything. You know what I mean? Like I can make myself cool with that too, which I feel like that's maybe kind of a counterproductive mindset, but at the same time, like the opposite mindset is one that's thrown at you, which is that you need to get more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah.
that's not a good mindset either. You feel me? So
I don't think
like
it should ever have to be. I feel like for me at least, like what I'm realizing is like I gotta stop focusing on making money off of something and just what I find interesting, like doing this with you, or
right.
like with my wife, like baking some shit, or doing like that kind of thing. Finding those things you like, and like realizing that like for this, if we do this, it's a resume builder. It could lead to something bigger. You don't have to plan on it or even plan like it's going to happen like that. But there are things that you can do that seem like we're just fucking around. And it's going to like, there are steps that you can take within that to make yourself better at something else. Like I organize stuff, we organize stuff. We do these things and we're practicing talking on a microphone and public speaking and putting something out and being creative again. And to me, once you get into that process,
I mean, you be doing digital
it comes
designs and
out of
shit,
it.
dog.
Huh?
You be doing graphic design and shit, bro, for
That's
this
what I
shit, man.
mean.
Like,
Like, and
like,
but making us do this fuck around thing for me has made me find ways to do all those things where, when we were working, I had a laptop that we got in film
yeah,
school that died. So I lost
right,
Photoshop, Final Cut.
right,
And for a while, I was like, I don't got any money. I can't make this happen. Like, I don't know
right.
how to be creative with like without those tools. And now I figured that out. And I think honestly for me, and this is leading into the other thing I wanted to talk about, is that we talk a lot about our mentality and our mind state when we were living together and earlier in our lives. And I
Yeah,
think for me, unfortunately, I got cancer like 4 years ago. Like to the yesterday was 4 years.
yeah.
And
Woo,
you,
woo, run it, beat
I mean,
cancer's
that's
ass.
crazy. It's been 4 years, but you know, at the time, like literally, this was the timeline. I think it was 2017 or 2016. You left LA.
Yeah,
We had to leave our apartment. I moved down to like the beach area in my Hermosa Beach. And I think it was like a couple months. I know exactly when I felt the symptoms, but on December 31st, 2016, I felt like this horrible pain in my back. And right after, like a month later, I got diagnosed with leukemia. And through all that, we can talk about the process. I think
that wasn't even like that. That might have been like 2 months. I think I left in like August that year or
yeah,
something, September. Yeah, so
it was
like
I think you left in like October, I think, maybe earlier than
might
that,
have been.
in a
Yeah,
little bit.
actually,
And
yeah,
then
it was like October.
it was
Yeah,
around Thanksgiving, I think.
yeah, that's crazy, man.
But my buddy left. I just got, I'm my wife now, but we've decided to move in together. And it was like everything was going good. And like before that, I got my health good. I was fat. I would smoke cigarettes and I'd stopped all that. And when we were living together and right before you left, I figured like what I did was get myself in maximum shape. At the time, it was to get laid. I'm going to be honest. I was trying to get some pee, get some my D and some pee, but um, and then I got sick and I went through a month of like excruciating pain that I was dealing with being a dude and coming up with any reason in my head where I was not, something catastrophic wasn't going on in my body. So like, it felt like to me, my back was being ripped apart from the inside. That's the best way I can put it.
Oh my God.
So like, I felt this searing pain in my back. And to me, it was like one of those pains where you just like tweak something real bad. But you know, I was walking, I was like, I work out a lot. I probably tweaked my back.
But then, nothing actually like happened. Like you weren't working out.
I literally, this is what happened, Aaron. Mike and Sean came down to visit me and see the apartment.
Yeah.
I walked them to their car. And as I was walking back from like saying bye, I just felt like I got struck by lightning, like down my back. And I was like, ah. But I walked in and it didn't like stay. It was just like kind of there. But over the course of days, it got worse. I couldn't sleep.
Crazy.
And I was working. Like I still didn't have a car. So picture this over the course of a month. My daily routine was to ride a bus with my bike to my job. I would either bike home or I would jog home, which was probably 3 to 4 miles a night. And I still did that for like a week, but then I couldn't even do that because my back hurt too much. So I would go home from my job. My back would hurt all day. They had like massage chairs at the place I work. So I was like, man, it's just getting worse, but I'm just going to try to like live through it.
Yeah.
I would sweat at night. Like I couldn't sleep. I would like start sweating and I started feeling like these big like bumps, but they weren't like showing. It was just like a bump.
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's a lymph node. Like I'm probably sick, you know, some shit. But I went for a month and dude, it got worse and worse. And I finally had to go to the hospital. And I went to like 2 urgent cares in that month. And none of them could tell me anything. They were like, well, there's no structural damage on your back. So you're just probably something. So I would go home and be like, cool. And I would do whatever I could. I fucking went to like 24-hour fitness and would sit in the jacuzzi in the morning, then go to work and try to get through the day. And finally I went to my wife is like, just go to the ER. We'll go to the ER. They'll figure it out. And then we'll pay for it. Cause I didn't even have insurance.
Yeah.
I didn't have shit.
Right.
And, we went and I like will never, this is like the part of getting it where it was like terrible. I went to the ER. I was in pain and they took a bunch of blood tests and I was like sitting there waiting and because we were in the ER and I was like laying on a bed, I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is all, I'm about to get, you know, I'm fucking around. I'm a hypochondriac. They're going to tell me I have like, there was like 5 things when I looked up my symptoms that weren't leukemia that were like, you know, whatever it was.
Just to bring some,
like, they're going to tell me I got fucking this dumb shit. I'm going to go home. I'm going to smoke a joint and I'm just going to laugh about this because finally this is about to be over with. And we were laughing. And then this doctor came in. I think his name was Kennedy, this white dude. And like, he was just like, I was like looking for him to be, you know, like looking at him to gauge what I was like needed to do. And he was like stone faced. And I was like, so like, what's up? And he's like, we're going to have to like put you upstairs. I'm really sorry to say this, like you got leukemia. And like that thing you see in movies where it's like a ringing and it like makes all the noise. You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like, man, dude. I remember that shit so vividly because like I was like, am I going to die because the pain I was in? I was like, if it's in my back, how do you get cancer out of a back? You know, how does that, everything went through my head, but I was like, am I going to die? And the guy was like, I don't know. That's all a doctor. Like, so my wife and I cried and I had to like call my mom and dad, which was like to me the worst part of it because they're like across the country and it was so fucking wild, dude. So trippy. So like in that hospital they're like, you don't have insurance.
Bruh. And
I was like, dude, well, like what am I gonna do? So they put me up in this hospital and they put like they put this thing called like it's like a port, I think. It's something where it's like lined
for like dialysis,
yeah, but it's like a line that they go into, put it in your heart, but it's so they can draw blood and like put medicine in. And like, I didn't even know what leukemia was, what I had. They're just doing all this shit. And I like, finally, it took like an hour of me sitting in a bed, and this lady came in and she looked at me and she goes, I'm not supposed to be here telling you this, but this hospital can't help you. This is too bad. We don't know we don't have and I'm like in a hospital. I was like, what do I like? What? And she goes, I work for like UCLA. Like she worked at both hospitals. And she goes, you got to get there. And she's like, you can't tell them I told you this, but you have to get there and you just have to tell them that don't tell them you came here at all. Just tell them that you think you might have leukemia, like say that and have them draw your blood so you can get seen. And I was like, I don't. And she goes, I'm going to have somebody call you. And somebody called me from UCLA, like, sir, I have to whisper this. This is how and they kind of explained to me how I had to do that. So I had to go through that crazy shit.
That shit is wild.
I had to go to UCLA, dog. And they were like, you don't have insurance. So but they can't turn you away for that.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any beds. And at this point, like the pain in my back, I wasn't getting any drugs at the other hospital. Like they didn't give me anything. So the pain is at 20. It's at the point where I'm like about to pass out from the pain. It's crazy. And they don't have any beds. So they put me in a hallway just in a hallway in the ER.
Yeah.
This is the other thing I'll never forget. They put me in there and Kendra had to go because her mom and dad had to come out and like drive us around to get this done, which God bless them. Like we weren't as close, but they like showed up. They were fucking amazing. And I'm sitting in there and she leaves. So it's just me. And I'm talking to this doctor and he's trying to like do the doctor shit when you get into a hospital. Like, what's your pain? Is it from a scale of 1 to 10? And I'm like crying, like I need something. And he gave me oxys. They didn't do anything. So he's like, I'll be right back. And then an insurance lady comes and is like, there's nothing. So we're going to set you up so there's all this like craziness going on around me. ER noises. People telling me I don't have insurance. So in my back of my mind, I'm like, oh, well, they're going to make me leave and I'm going to die of cancer because of this. So I don't know what's going on. And then I talked, there's like this lady, this was like a guardian angel type girl. This woman, this black chick, and I think her name was like Michelle. It started with an M, but she had sickle cell. Yeah. And bad, like real bad. And she was in a lot of pain, but she was like the hospital. She knew everything about all. She's like, where'd you come from? And I told her, and she's like, oh, that place is nice. Cause she had so many problems associated with sickle cell. She's like, you're going to love it here. She's like, and she was just so nice. But the guy fucking comes and he's like, I'm going to give you Dilaudid because my back, like I'm crying. She's like trying to, I just found out everything. And the guy gave me Dilaudid, which is heroin. That's what it is. Yeah. And that did something where I was like talking to the girl and I remember my vision, it started to like twirly and it just twirled out. Like it kept getting more blurry. And I was just like, I started laughing. And then I came to at some point and that girl was still there. And she was like, I thought you dead. I thought you died, motherfucker. You just started laughing and then you just passed out. Man. But I got through all that, dude. And like, I don't want to explain everything about this because it's just a lot, but like leukemia is a blood cancer. So I don't know the seriousness of what I had, but from the people at the beginning, I think I was like a week. If I would have waited a week, I'd be dead. That type of shit.
I mean, dude, see you, I don't know, but you got a different kind of mentality to me. Cause like, I have just had shit happen to me where I've been sick or hurt or whatever. So like, if I have some shit going on with me, like wanted to tell you, like, when you were laughing, saying like, "Oh, I'm just tripping," you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a hypochondriac. Like, I've literally done that like 8 times.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
a warning to everybody. Like, but
yeah,
here's the thing, Aaron. You'll know. Because even me, I
yeah,
was taught, here's why I didn't go immediately. I have a sister who's a nurse, right?
yeah,
And my sister knows me personally, and I am a hypochondriac. If I get a cough, I might have it's one of those things.
right,
So it's like
right,
this. I looked it up, dude. I went on WebMD and I go midnight sweats, pain in the back, swollen lymph nodes. Type that into Google, and
yeah.
all you're gonna get is a bunch of shit going. Go to the hospital immediately. These are symptoms of leukemia. Like I knew it was leukemia.
Uh,
But I got like my sister's like, just go to urgent care, and they're telling me they don't do blood tests. They just do
yeah,
X-ray.
yeah. That's all they do:
Nothing,
sprains and X-rays at urgent care. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was one of those things,
Cuts and
man. You
stuff.
can't
Yeah,
ignore. But I knew it. I was sweating. It was just like abnormal, and it was just getting so much worse. Where I should have
yeah.
gone much earlier, but going through it, dude. Like blood cancer is a different thing. They can't cut it out of you. It's
Right.
not like you get a tumor. It's like it's not an easier process. I don't ever want to diminish anybody's cancer, but to me, my shit was, how do you get cancer out of blood? Are you going to suck all my blood out? Are you going to, and basically the only way I could get it, some people can get radiation and it makes it go away. But mine was so bad that the only thing they could do is kill my immune system and like get a match of somebody else that is like 1,000,000,001 shot that you'll ever find a match, because it's not within your family.
Yeah,
They have to get a stem cell from whatever these genetic markers are. And I did get a match, and I didn't know who the person was. I do know now. Like, this is how crazy this is. My match is a lady in Australia.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and they somehow got this woman's stem cells, shipped them to America, put them in my body, and then that took a month. I was in the hospital initially for a month and a half, got out. I was cancer free, basically, and they kept my immune system from killing me in that time. And then, like, basically 6 months after I got diagnosed, I got my stem cell transplant, which is a miracle, dude. Just that process is
Yeah.
crazy to me. That if you told me what the odds were at the beat when I was told I needed to have it, I'd be like, well, I'm dead. And there are people that wait 10 years. Like, if you're black and you need this, you're fucked. Because
Yeah.
it's like, or if you're Asian, for some reason, you are like, that's the worst thing. They can't find the genetic like matches and stuff, but I got it, dude. And it's like 1,000,001 thing that I survived. And even in surviving, like, I've met people that, like, I met a guy who got a reaction called grafts versus host, where the immune system they put into your body, that's the transplant, actually
Yeah.
thinks your body is a foreign substance, so it'll attack you by mistake.
Right.
Like, it happened to me, and I got swollen legs a little bit, and like had that kind of issue, and like some sort of like nerve pains, but that's sort of minimized a little bit. And I do a lot to stay active, but I've met people, like I met a guy who went blind. I've seen people in like wheelchairs that they can't even go outside because of the sun creates a reaction on their skin where they basically, it's,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
just crazy because, like, in all this story and what we were talking about before, of just like meeting strangers and all that, and just, all this kind of connect back, because that's really kind of how you got saved, man. Like that lady that told you in that one hospital, like, yo, I work at UCLA. Like, she just so happened to even be working that day, dog.
That's what I
You know
mean.
what I'm saying? Like, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many things. And then, like, for her to be like, yo, this dude is kind of fucked if I don't give him these key little points right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes in life, like, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know if you can't even really call that like chance. You know what I'm saying? It's like all that kind of really went that way because it was supposed to. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why
Like, it's almost like
That's why you got
it's crazy, dog.
Me, it like flipped my mentality. I was saying all this one because it's crazy. I think it's like good for people to hear this that are either have like somebody in their life that has cancer or gets it, because like one thing that was terrifying for me is whenever you like it just happens. Like I didn't even know what leukemia was, and even like the word tumor, I went through something even after I got all this done where they thought I had a cancer in my kidney because I had a tumor on my kidney show up, and it wasn't cancerous. But somebody, like I went to I think it was a urologist or it was somebody like a kidney doctor, whatever that is.
Yeah.
The guy's like, you got a tumor on your kidney and we're gonna have to take it out. Like we got to figure it out first. But that was all he told me, and then he had to go. And it's like for like somebody that's going through this, like a lot of the things you don't know what to expect. And I think it's really, hopefully I can do something more than this in the future. But just even this, to hear somebody who went through it, survived, and I don't like want to jinx it because I'm doing really well, but there's a lot of people that don't even make it through. Sometimes I feel I get like imposter syndrome talking about it because I do know there's people that suffered a lot more and went through a lot worse shit. And it's not to minimize what I went through because there are other, like I had to get like injections in my spine and shit that where I went through a lot. But I think it's like important for people to hear this, like I said, to have a story that they can go to and be like, if you're going through and you just got the news that I got 4 years ago, to hear somebody like you just have to like go through it. And
it's possibilities and everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
And it can work out. But like you said, there's so many things that happened in that scenario I went through, like that doctor or the person, like all that, where I don't believe in like destiny or fate, but it's hard not to because everything, it's like I met Kendra and we fell in love and then we moved together. And instead of like running away from, like we were only dating for like a year maybe when that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like we met people who literally told us that whenever they were diagnosed, the person they were with left them. So like, she didn't do that. She stuck by me and like cared for me and her family.
Hey man, I just want to give a quick little props to myself on that one though, because I used to let Matt borrow my car to go over to see Kendra, y'all. So you know what I'm saying. Don't say that your boy don't be
you
looking
did,
out.
Man.
You
helped me out.
You know what I'm saying. Your boy used to look out. But
he taught me how to drive manual transmission cars too, just so I could use that car, bro.
Exactly. But on the real though, man, I just wish that, man, I could have been there even more for you, dog.
Honestly,
like,
I'm glad you weren't, because it was too much. It was like almost like that had to happen in that way, because that was the only way to involve anyone other than her in it. Is just,
I would have made your ass go to the hospital sooner, dog.
Yeah, you definitely would have.
I would have wrestled you, dog.
I think in those situations, that's one of those things where it's so hard for somebody that's not the person to step in, because like even me, you don't want to acknowledge it could be cancer. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was something bad, and I even knew I had seen what it could be, and that's what it was. But you don't want to go, man. And somebody's going to like keep making excuses. So I don't know.
Mean, like legitimately though, what you're talking about, like that's what went down with my pops, man. Like, like people make up their mind on shit where it's like, man, I'm not gonna be moved on this, and it's like I don't, I don't want to.
Your dad was older than me too, somebody. It's like that's like people my parents' age. They don't. If you got us, we're younger,
right?
Even they don't. It's not that they don't respect our opinion, but they're set in their ways, and they're not going to hear our opinion,
Right.
But I mean, it's just one of the, I don't believe in destiny and fate, but it's made me very thankful. I mean, I'm definitely.
No, it's not. You know what it is, man? I don't think that it's really what you would call fate so much as it's like natural instinct. You know what I'm saying? Where like it's even instances in the wild where you ever seen like an animal that would usually kill an animal, see it be hurt, and it try to help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll be like like only thing I can think of off the top of my head is like sometimes an elephant. Like I've seen an elephant got shot in a video and it ran to people because it kind of knew like
Oh, okay, yeah.
y'all can help me. You know what I'm saying? Or like I've seen like before where like it wasn't exactly like a lion or something, but like it would be like, you know, like a dog or something would like be licking on like a little baby rabbit and stuff, you know, like just like things like that where you would be like, oh, that could have been worse, you know what I'm saying? Like a pit bull is sitting there like playing with a kitten, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But like I feel like part of that is because in all of us we recognize like a goodness, you know what I'm saying? And like I mean, you gotta realize, dog, like you are an awesome dude, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, like it's not like you just like some shit ass person, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like even like I was even kind of saying that with the film school thing, like some like we were talking about taking the lead and stuff. Like you gotta realize, bro, like and being enlightened, like we just get things quick, dog. Like some people don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that they're not good or bad people or less than. They just do things their way. You know what I'm saying? Like some people don't like they catch it and then when they catch it, they got it. You know what I'm saying? But it might take them 4 days where it would take you an hour. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we all different. You know what I'm saying? And like that's kind of the thing that's crazy is like I feel like part of your goodness probably showed in all these people that were saying like, look, I know this guy ain't got insurance and he ain't got this or whatever, and like he's in a bad way. We got to help this dude because like partly they are caregivers and that's what they're there to do. You know what I'm saying? But like they went above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Because you were who you were. You know what I'm saying? Like even like in what I went through with my dad, man. Like the doctor that was in the ER was my dad's doctor. He was like, man, in the regular instance, I understand, you know, like we typically are saying like we don't have a response or whatever. Like we just want to try everything we possibly can. Like they were scanning them so many times trying to do everything they could, you know what I'm saying? It just it was what it was, you know what I mean? Like because just like you know, we're talking about the possibilities and yours all turned out well, like those possibilities can turn the sour way, but it doesn't mean that it was for things to be bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying like I'm not like torn up about my pops. Like I'll never be able to, you know, fix the hole that's there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's times where it's just like the littlest thing, you know what I'm saying? Like the dude that I'm working with was 62, you know what I'm saying? And like that's how old my dad was, you know what I'm saying? It's like and it's like you don't want to even bring that up to somebody, but like that's what you're sitting there thinking about while they're talking to, you know, like just regular like how we are, you know what I mean? It's just crazy how like it bruises your mind in such a crazy ass way, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure like the same thing with you. It's like you'll never be able to hear anybody say cancer and not instantly jump back to those moments where it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? But like,
for me, dude, I feel like the thing that I sort of use is like motivation. I'm terrified of it, but like a lot of the things I had to do to get better, you know, they've used radiation and all these like weird, you know, even the process of getting the stem cell thing, they make you sign documents, and like every doctor you talk to is like, well, this is going to save you now, but in like 30 years this could actually give you, you know, all this and this. So it's like I have like this like it's not I'm not like constantly like worried I'm going to get cancer again, but it's almost like this voice in the back of my head saying like where I would sit on the couch and not want to do like this even. It's like you better do it. You know, you don't know if you're going to be able to, you know, go on a run tomorrow or do this podcast with Aaron tomorrow or have this job tomorrow, you know. So I've seen all those because honestly, man, when I got cancer, I felt like I was on the right, like a really big upswing from where we were. You know, everything was going right. I got a new place. I love this place. I got a girl, you know, I can get all these other things back, like the creativity. I just got to work this job, and all that shit got clipped out from under me. And I thought, you know, I'm never going to be healthy again. I'm never going to be able to even work out. Like I love working out. I'm never going to be able to do that again. I'm never going to see my mom, all these things. And when I got over them all, it just, I still am nervous to talk and like be the guy. I don't like that, but I will do it and I'm good at it. And I know like things that I would never have put myself to or do before, I've made myself do because I went through this and I know it's not that big of a deal. Like literally saying, you know, having something at a job that you just started and you might not do that. Like I wouldn't test myself. And now it's just like, this ain't that big of a deal. Let me just see how it goes. And just being lax and almost like you brought up being like the old cool guy type thing,
Yeah.
getting more of that in my system where the grim reality of the world is that if I'm here today and I am gone tomorrow, the world's going to keep going. You know,
Right.
we
Right.
all, have these losses, and I want to be here, but it's not like the world's not going to stop if I'm gone. And that
Yeah.
can be terrifying, but it can be motivating. And that's sort of just,
Well, you know what's crazy, man? And like we don't nobody think about this really, but like, and this is kind of what I was getting at about trying to just be like a nice guy and being happy all the time and just being cool and shit is like those little things. Like imagine, for example, all the stories that you tell that are crazy, wild ass stories that have happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go down the list, you know what I'm saying? And like this is one thing that really fucks my head up because like I've been on varying sides of stories like that where it's like, man, I was up in the club, man. I seen somebody fuck with my homie, so I stole on that dude and we beat
yeah,
their ass and rolled out. You know what I'm saying? And then the other times where it's like, man, we was up in the club and some dude stole on our homie and then we got jumped and got our ass kicked, you know what I'm saying? And now like we all bust up and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like luckily that's never happened to me, but like I'm just saying like things have gone good and bad, like same thing like we are saying like with all these things. And like what you have to realize is those moments kind of shape you into everything. It's even more valuable than money, really, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
like whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, like because like all the times you talk to somebody and did something good, you know what I'm saying, like don't that person remembers that, or like even just the moment y'all had together where like one of your good homies might have just been smoking a bowl and you said the funniest shit ever to him at that moment, and like sometimes he thinks about that, you know what I'm saying? And just to be like, man, I wonder what Matt doing right now. Like that's even more valuable than gold, dog. Because you can't take none of that shit with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, what's more important to you? Something that'll make you feel good forever, or something that is always you're constantly chasing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know what I mean? So
Damn,
like, that's that's
damn,
that's
bro.
wild, right? So, but then think about this though. Knowing that you can do that for somebody and that somebody can do it for you and vice versa, you can also be the evilest person in their mind because like I've done things that I'm sure looking back, like people tell that story, be like, man, some crazy black dude beat my ass. I don't even know why, or like yelled at me. And it's like, damn, dog, like, why did I do that shit? Like, cause now like I am in their life burned forever as that, you know what I'm saying? And like they might even see me when they, you know what I'm saying? They might come back my way, you know what I'm saying? Like mistakes I made, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like that's why it's like, damn, I do need to try to be doing as much good as possible because you haven't been perfect, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, like those little things, dog, it could literally be as small as holding a door for somebody, dog. Like you don't even understand like how the mind really works where those things can shape somebody's whole world, bro. And if we all had that mindset, you know what I mean? Like how bomb this world would be, where it's just like, man, I'm gonna try to just be the most awesomest person to this do today. You know what I'm saying? Like for a minute, I used to do this thing where I would ride the bus and pray for people I didn't know, where I would just be like, man, I just hope everything good happened to that person, man. Like everything they dream about just come true, man. And like they just had the best day today and tomorrow and the next day. And just like, I hope that person just be doing good. And it just made me feel good, but like I don't really know why I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of
but
stopped
why,
as a
like,
purpose.
like, why?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's fucking bomb. I've
Yeah.
never done shit like that, and
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of that stuff starts with, for me, being able to be confident in that you and I are good people,
Right.
and knowing that whatever my point of view is, I'm never going to be shitty to somebody. I'm not good at being mean to people. If I'm mean to you, it's because I feel like you've wronged me, and it very rarely ever happens. So, especially recently and after I got through all the things that we just talked about, I have like a confidence in myself that I might not know the process, but if I feel like if I give you advice, I'm not giving you any sort of, there's no bullshit. I don't really bullshit anybody anymore. I used to bullshit myself, other people a lot. I think that was my main thing, was just not being able to deliver bad news or things I didn't think people like to hear. And there's a
Right.
way to like be the same. You can do all that stuff too. It's most people think that's like a negative thing, but like being good people, and like you said, it got me all that positivity when I needed it the most. Like people
Right.
gave me money, dude. People like that I went to church with sent me cards from when I was like, I hadn't seen them in a decade plus. They sent me
Right.
cards, sent me love, and called me. And gave me money to survive with my, and I think that ultimately the karma, like that's the one thing I think I believe in. Doing the positive thing, like you said. I bet when you were doing those things on the bus, you had great days, and it was because you were
Yeah.
putting out positive like energy, and
Right.
that Brody Stevens thing of just like being positive and positive energy and giving everybody a positive push forward and stuff. And
Well, you know
I
what
don't
it
know,
kind of
man.
is? You ever, like, we be playing sports, it's like momentum and shit. Like, maybe that shit is real in everything you do, dog. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, you hit one shot, then your homie made a bomb ass play, and y'all just balling and scoring and everything just flowing. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
just like, but then sometimes it goes wrong. Then other team that shit starts happening for them. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like your mindset get cloudy too. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, man, like we can't hit a shot now, and it's like it shifts to them. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's more so how it is really, and it's so quick like that. Maybe that's really how it works, even on with us on everyday shit, where it's like you get that positive momentum and you could just ride that wave, dog. And then that one little thing can shift it, and then it's like you ride that negative wave, and it's like the same way that you can have that positive wave pushing you, that negative wave pushes you, where it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, like, this motherfucker gonna cut me off in traffic, and now she doing this and they doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just will build where, like, if you want to be mad, dude, like, like, I've seen you come home plenty of days, and me
Hell
too.
yeah.
It's
You just
like,
live in it, man. Just sit there and just
right,
fucking hear that angry voice. Like, man, I hope somebody says some shit. And
right, exactly, dog, right. And it's like, but then when you really step back from that shit, it's like, man, I don't even want to be like that, man. Damn, like, you know what I'm saying? It's
I
like,
mean,
damn, I
and
just want
that's
to be
like a
cool.
working thing because you and I'm not like I'm not saying that I'm a perfect guy now. I
Right,
don't
me neither,
walk
me
through
neither.
this life
Not
and
even
now I'm
close.
this enlightened guy. Like, hey guys, every day's a blessing. No, like I'll get an email at work, or like honestly, something that's going on right now that's a mini conspiracy is I'm like dealing with an insurance company,
Yeah,
and dealing with insurance, like associated with like medication and stuff, is the most one of the most infuriating things I've
it's
literally yelled
demonic,
at
dog.
people on the phone like 4 days in a row this week for because
Bro,
of
it's,
bullshit.
it's
So
really some evil ass shit. Cause just like
yeah,
how that woman helped you, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
the
I need
opposite.
help. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I have insurance for this reason. So, like, why are y'all jerking the chain around when
Yeah.
I need this to live? You know what
They
I'm saying?
literally called me the other day, some lady, and was like, "Oh, you're being audited by your insurance company. They said that they're not your insurance, and we're going to send you a bill for all the hospital stuff that you've had done from 2019 to now." It's like, oh, is that like hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because what do you think I'm going to just pay it? So, I mean, I don't want to get into that because we've been super positive, and like all that shit's temporary anyway, which is again something that an old me, I'd be sitting here stewing about it and mad, and like I feel like the things we've talked about, going through all the struggles that both of us have. I mean, the thing that you said with your dad is something that, we talked about the thing I went through. I can't even imagine going through that. It seems like so much
Uh,
harder than what I went through. And I'm sure you'd say the same thing about my thing. And
yeah, man.
realizing that through all those things that you and I, like, that's the most important thing that I don't think I've really ever changed. I've become more of a mature guy and more talented and driven. But as far as like me, if I went and hung out with people I hung out with in college, I'm the same bullshitty. Like, I love fucking around with people and joking and I don't want to be the serious Tony
Right.
Robbins, you know, inspirational guy. That's not me.
Yeah.
But
Or even like a suit and tie, money,
no, it's just
motherfucker all the
not me.
time. You know what
I
I'm
just want
saying?
to have
Yeah, like,
fun, man. Like,
yeah, man.
that's ultimately, I think, maybe our generation, got into our heads or whatever. But the idea of
Man, you know what
working
I
in the
wish?
office, dog, I just can't. I hate it.
Oh, dude, tell me about it, bro. But like,
No.
you know what I wish, man. But then tell me that this isn't exactly how real life is. But that, you know how like, what if you just had like fun tokens? You know what I'm saying? Where it was just like anytime, you know what I'm saying, like some bomb ass shit go down, like y'all just get like you got like a smiley face in kindergarten, like What if that was like a real thing? Like, I don't know, man. Just like a bomb ass system where like you're like maybe on social media, you just had like a whole bunch of stickers on your shit because it was just like, yo, this dude be having bomb ass shit going on all the time. So like we just he just gets credit for all that shit. Like I feel like that system would probably like fuck the world up in the long run, but like honestly that kind of is what money is too, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just get paid for the job you do, and it's like, well, I'm a doctor, so it's like, oh, good job, doctor, you get all the money. And then it's like, well, I'm the trash man. It's like, well, somebody got to clean trash, so here's some money, but you know, go about your business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you don't get the same type of look when your numbers ain't as high, and it's kind of like that credit system. You know what I mean? But it's just funny, man. Like we've been talking for a minute, I know, and I ain't trying to keep on running our mouths because you know we will talk forever, but I mean, I think this was a good ass episode, man. Like I said, might had to cut that one down a little bit.
That's cool, man. I mean, I was trying to sort of explain this, like, because I do that other thing with Steve, and we talk about the other podcast we do at the end, like whatever you want to say, promo, or whatever. But we keep joking about it, but I think this is more just therapy that we record and we just put it out.
I mean, you already know me anyways, dog. Like I'm gonna be talking about some crazy shit, so it's like that's what I do, man. Like I like thinking about how you think. You know what I'm saying? And how people think. Like that to me is like something that honestly I think is the next breaking level of like science and shit, but don't nobody really want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's important also. Like they don't really teach you how to like navigate through some of this stuff. And I do think podcasts are kind of cool in that way that you can listen to people that are friends talk through this kind of shit, and you might not be able to have that conversation, but you can at least see how other people are sort of talking about it and navigating it. And I mean, we're not the people to educate the masses, but you know, it's good to hear people who are relatable. We're just like normal dudes, and you know, I never had anybody really even tell me how like learning and like that kind of thing, just how to like think on your own, not think to get a job done or like work for something, you know, like I think it's interesting.
Well, I think that's where the school system fails a lot of people, man. It's like because like that's kind of where I was wanting to go when I got out of high school. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, man, I done learned all this numbers and calculus because like I was in AP classes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like I'm like some dumb person, man. Like I was like one of the top people in my class. The only reason why I really wasn't the valedictorian in my class because I just didn't give a fuck enough to be like caring about studying for every fucking class all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I would skip school and shit and still make honor roll. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I was struggling. So that's why to me it was like going to college. I wasn't really wanting to fuck with it because I was like, man, I don't want to go back and do more schooling. I just want to just like get out here, start making this money. You know what I'm saying? Because like I can't afford school anyways. You know what I'm saying? And like I get why people should have a degree and all that, but like I don't need a degree for what I'm doing now, you know.
I don't agree. For what we wanted to do, I don't like that was the biggest mistake I ever made, but that's a whole other podcast to talk about that bullshit.
Right. But I just feel like, you know, man, like and just in the whole grand scheme of shit, man, like I'm with you, man. Like we just doing this shit to have a good time, man. And it's cool to talk to you, bro. You know what I mean?
I love it, dude.
No, man, you know, man, you already know I'm crazy anyways, dog. So it's gonna be entertainment one way or another, because you're gonna be talking about some crazy shit too. So
yeah, I mean, I just was like, you know what? We've been talking about some deep shit, which I love what we talked about today. But next episode, I'll go heavy into talking about busting nuts and you know whatever. We'll figure out some low class shit to talk about.
Oh god.
Hell yeah, right. I'm glad. Thanks for listening to that. And like to anybody out there, first of all, there's an organization for people who want to just get put on the register for stem cell donation, and it's called bethematch.org. And it's not an invasive thing. You just sign up online. They send you like a swab that you just spit out. It's like a spit thing. You send it back. They put you in. And if you are lucky enough to get matched with somebody, you could save somebody's life. And you don't do anything other than it's maybe a few hours of your time at some point. So that's super important. Bethematch.org. And yeah, man, like I know.
Shout out to our Australian lady.
Yeah, Gayleen. Shout out to Gayleen, my guardian angel. Honestly, dude, I would love to talk more about her because like the person who was my match, she like does trapeze. She used to be like a dancer, like one of those like Rockette type dancers and shit.
Oh man.
Like the kids, like a Las Vegas showgirl type.
Oh man.
But
we definitely have to talk about that because I have to talk about that for sure.
I mean, it's so
magical
of a thing that it's crazy. And
yeah,
I think that I just want to say to anybody going through that there is like a way to get through it, and it might seem like it's impossible, but it's not. And like I was in a really bad spot, and I didn't get to I hesitate to say that I went through like the worst thing that is possible, but to me it was. And to everybody out there, like you can get through that shit, and it's super important to know that. So shout out to anybody who got that bad news. You'll get through it. And man, it's just been super happy for me because like when I was going through it, like one of my biggest worries was like losing touch and not being able to like be friends with my close friends and not getting to have a relationship with them because I didn't know if I was ever going to live again. So to be where we're at now, and we don't live near each other, but to still have you in my life and is like a big win for me. So I'm just happy that Don Ron himself, Aaron, is still my buddy.
Like, I've been cooking up some dope shit for you too, man. In terms of some like movie shit. So if you really want to get
I mean, I think that's hopefully we'll get to look back on this in a few years, and we'll be off to bigger and better shit in that regard. But like to be where we're at now is like a huge win, and I know everyone's going through some tough shit, but just shout out to Aaron, man. It's good to have good friends in your life. And that's a big reason I got through all the shit that I went through, is having good people surround.
Man, don't make me cry up on here, man.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro. And we'll be back next week with some dick and some fart jokes.
Oh, God. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right. Later, y'all. Peace.
Yeah.